Hello, everyone. Welcome to this weekly Zohar reading for world peace. My name is Albert. I will be leading today's reading. Before we begin, let's really think about this reading. What do we want to accomplish out of it? What is our intention? What do we want to get out of it? And we know everything depends on the intention. To the extent that we're able to set that intention, to that extent we're able to derive something out of this reading. Okay, let's see also who we have with us. We have the Kabbalist Mamos from Ethiopia. Sean's writing Love and Peace from Melbourne, Australia. Carly from California. Carl Lawrence from Pittsburgh. Sylvie is writing Love and Shalom from the Netherlands. Todik from Brooklyn. Victoria Simpson from Seattle. Lynn from Minnesota. Patricia is writing Hello from Ohio. Elizabeth from the Netherlands, and many, many more. Thank you all for joining us. So now we're going to start with a little clip, which will hopefully help us to set that intention, because once again, everything depends on the intention. To the extent that we're able to have that intention, that it's closer to the light, closer to what the Creator wants to give us, the stronger the Zohar can influence us. So a little clip to help us set the intention from Rav Laitman.
Before we start to read the Book of Zohar, we need to understand why we need to connect together in the heart and in the soul, so all of our desires and all of our hearts would be as one heart and would be directed to the purpose and goal of creation and why we exist. And it's not how we imagine it, but according with the goal and creation, we must connect and unite, and in that connection, as it's written, all of Israel are friends because they try to reveal the Creator, and that's why in the unification between us, this is what Zohar is talking about, and to that extent that we can unite, in that unity, we will understand what's written about here. So our intentions, our kavanot, should be only for unity.
There you have it. All our intentions should be only for unity. The upper light is in a state of rest, in a state of constant one united state, and we want to resemble it. We want to resemble that state of unity, and we want to unite between us. We want the whole world to be united. We want for there to be peace in the world and unity, and this is why we're opening up the Book of Zohar, because we want to draw this light through us to the whole world. Today we are going to be reading from the section called in the Zohar called "You Are in Partnership with Me." So you are in partnership with me. Let's begin. 61. Now Rabbi Shimon started. I have put my words in your mouth and covered you with the shadow of my hand to plant the heaven and establish the earth, and to say unto Zion, you are my people, or you are with me. One should toil in the Torah day and night, because the Creator listens to the voice of those who engage in Torah. In each word that is renewed in the Torah, through a person who labors in the Torah, he makes one firmament. The Creator gave his power of speech into the mouths of the righteous, As it is written, you are with me, to partner with me, as I have made the heaven and the earth with my speech. As it is written, by the word of the Lord were the heavens made. The righteous will create heaven by the power of their speech. By that, Rabbi Shimon began the verse, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Created is a blocked word, the word that closes rather than opens. We should understand why it was made a closing. He says that he did so in order to place the end of the correction of heaven and earth in the speech of the righteous, to make them partners with him in creating heaven and earth. As it is written, and I will place my words in your mouth. This contains two discernments of renewal of heaven and earth, which he placed in the mouths of the righteous. One, to correct the sin of Adam Harishon, since the emanator made the correction of heaven and earth in the sublime way prior to the sin of Adam Harishon. It is explained in the act of creation that Zon of Atzilut rose to Arichanpin and to upper Abba Ve'ima, and Adam Harishon rose and clothed Yeshut and Zon of Atzilut. Also, Adam Harishon had Naran of Atzilut, called upper brightness, until the heel of Adam was darkening the circle of the sun. After the sin with the tree of knowledge, he descended to this corporeal world, and his Naran now came to him from the worlds of the separated Bia, and heaven and earth of Atzilut declined because of him into Vak, and a point from Tabor of Arichanpin and below. The righteous must mend all the flaws that were caused by the sin, to renew the heaven and earth of Atzilut, who are Zon, and elevate them to Arichanpin and to Abba Ve'ima, as they were prior to the sin. Also, the righteous themselves will reacquire the upper brightness of Adam Harishon, which is Naran from the world of Atzilut. 2. Before the sin, Adam Harishon too did not have all the wholeness that the emanator wished to give him. This is why, once the righteous correct the sin of the tree of knowledge and obtain the wholeness of Naran of Atzilut that Adam Harishon had before the sin, they must work anew to extend all the upper mochin that have never been in the world. As it is written, no eye has seen a God besides you. And these worlds, which no eye has yet seen, and which complement the righteous, are called a new heaven and a new land, for they are truly new and have never existed. But those heaven and earth which the righteous renew and bring back, as it was in the act of creation before the sin of Adam Harishon, are not considered truly new heaven and earth. After all, they have already existed in the world, since the emanator has already corrected them by himself before the sin. Rather, they are renewed, since after they were blemished and were cancelled, they were renewed. For this reason, these righteous are still not regarded as partners with the Creator. Thus, the verse, I've put my words in your mouth, which Rabbi Shimon introduces, refers to the upper mochin, which Adam Harishon lacked as well, since they were actually innovated by the righteous, for they had not yet departed from the emanator. This is why the righteous are considered as actual partners in that regard. The Creator listens to the voices of those who engage in Torah. With each word that is renewed in the Torah, through a person who toils in the Torah, he makes one firmament. Zeranpin is called a voice, and Nukva is called speech. When the righteous engages in Torah, he raises man to Zon with the voice and speech of his Torah. A voice rises to Zeranpin, and the speech rises to the Nukva. The Creator listens to the voices of those who engage in Torah, because the voice of Torah rises from Man to Zeranpin, who is called the Creator. And in each word that is renewed in the Torah, through the person who is exerting the Torah, he makes one firmament. A word means speech. Each word that is renewed in the Torah of the one who engages in the Torah rises as man for the Nukva, who is called word and speech. By that, one firmament is done. The firmament, the screen on which the coupling of the Creator with his Shekhinah is done, is carried out through the man that the righteous raise by their engagement in the Torah. The reason why he says, in a word of Torah, and does not say, innovation in the voice of Torah, is that the Nukva needs the construction of her Yesod anew for each coupling, since after each coupling she becomes a virgin once again. And through the man of the righteous, the Yesod in her is always renewed, meaning the receptacle for the lights of Zeranpin. This is why he says, in each word that is renewed in the Torah, since the word Malchut is truly renewed by the righteous's word of Torah. For after every coupling, her receptacle disappears once more. 62. At the time when a new word of Torah comes out of the mouth of a man, that word rises and is introduced before the Creator. The Creator takes that word, kisses it, and crowns it with 70 decorated and engraved crowns. Then the new word of wisdom rises and sits on the head of the righteous one who lives forever. From there it flies and sails through 70,000 worlds, rising to Atik Yomin, the Keter. All the words of Atik Yomin are words of wisdom in the high hidden secrets. That is, when a person raises man with his word of Torah, the upper word, Nukva of Zeranpin, rises and is introduced before the Creator for a coupling with him. The Creator takes that word and kisses it. There are two discernments in each coupling of Zon, coupling of the Shekim, kisses, and coupling of Yesodot, foundations, or plural of Yesod. This is so because the name is not completed before he creates light for his light, and they clothe in one another. For besides the level of Chokhmah, a second coupling is required for the level of Hasidim. So the level of Chokhmah might clothe in the level of Hasidim. For this reason, each coupling includes two couplings. One, a coupling for the level of Chokhmah, called coupling of Neshikim. It is in the Peh of Rosh for the level of Rosh and Gar. Two, a coupling for the level of Hasidim. This is called coupling of Yesodot, and it is for the level of Hasidim. The Creator takes the word Nukva and kisses it, meaning a coupling of the Shekin for the level of Gar. He crowns it, meaning a coupling of Yesodot for the level of Hasidim, at which time the Chokhmah dresses in Hasidim, and the Nukva is crowned with complete Mochin, and crowns it with 70 decorated and engraved crowns. The complete Mochin of the Nukva is called 70 crowns, because the Nukva is the seventh day. When she receives from Zeranpin, who is in the tens, she becomes 70. The Mochin is called crowns, hence he is called 70 crowns. He says that they are decorated and engraved, meaning that through the man of the righteous, they become a receptacle for those 70 crowns. And the new word of wisdom rises and sits on the head of the righteous one who lives forever. There are two renewals of heaven and earth, which are Zon. One, to reinstate the crown as it was prior to the sin of Adam Rishon. And this renewal, the nukva, is called Word of Torah. And this is what Rabbi Shimon explained thus far. 2. The renewal of heaven and earth in upper Mochin, which even Adam Rishon did not attain. In that regard, nukva is called Word of Wisdom. All right. And we're going to take a second to pause here and reset our intentions. And we'll also watch a clip that will help us to do that. Here's another clip from Rav Laitman.
The Zohar usually completely disconnects us from all these things. Its midrash, meaning its language, is a language that is not so dependent on this world, and it doesn't quite describe this world for us. It's more illustrative. The problem that the Zohar does when it brings us these words, that we're in Lishma, they didn't mean for us to understand what they wrote. Because we can talk about this from spiritual degrees or even from their degree, of course not. But when they're in Gara Vatzilut, this is where the Zohar, the upper radiance, is a light in Arichanpin. This is a state of the end of correction, the place of the final correction. Whoever reaches there is in the final correction. So we need to understand that we don't have a more powerful, real, honest, direct source of light. Now to do so that the reforming light will be adapted to the upper light, which is abstract, it impacts us, it bestows upon us in endless influence forms of bestowal in accordance with the user.
All right, welcome back. We're going to continue. Let's just take another 30 seconds and really set our intentions, check our intentions, whether we were able to really hold on to them through the reading, or we got lost in the beauty of the reading, and really come up with a new game plan for these next 10 minutes for this second part of the reading. What are we going to do to hold on to the intention? Because everything really depends on the intention. So let's just take another 10 seconds and reset our intention for this next part of the reading. And the new word of wisdom rises and sits on the head of the righteous one who lives forever. As it is written, righteous sit with their crowns on their heads. This is so because through the man of the righteous, who are already complete with the upper brightness of Adam Rishon, such as Rabbi Shimon and his friends, the nukva of Zerampin rises to being a crown at the head of the righteous Zerampin, with respect to his Yesod, the one who lives forever. Commentary. The light of Chokhmah is called the light of Haya. And since Zerampin can draw the light of Haya only through the nukva, it is considered that he is alive only when in coupling with the nukva, who's called the world. This is why at that time he's called the righteous one who lives forever. It is also discerned that the nukva is a crown over his head, for the mochin that are called crown are from the nukva, and he would not be rewarded with them without her. We also learn that he did not move from being fond of her until my mother called, since the consequence is regarded as the offspring of its cause. And because the Nukva was the cause for the light of Chaya of Zerampin, in that respect, the Nukva has become his mother. From there, it flies and sails through 70,000 worlds. After she made a coupling with Zerampin in a crown over the head of the righteous, she flies and rises further up to Arichanpin, where her Zat are corrected in 700,000 worlds. This is so because the Sefirot of Arichanpin are 10,000, and she rises from Arichanpin to Atik Yomin, and he calculates the ascent of Zon one at a time up to Atik Yomin, which is done by the Man of the complete righteous. This is because the coupling of the crown and the head of the righteous is by ascending to upper Abba Ve'ima and rising from there to Arichanpin in 70,000 worlds, and from there to Atik, who is the highest of all. All the words of Atik Yomin are words of wisdom in the high hidden secrets. He interprets the merit of the mochin that are given to the Nukva through her ascent to Atik Yomin. He says that all the words of Atik Yomin, all the levels that are received from Atik Yomin, are words of wisdom in the high and hidden secrets, Gar of Chokhmah. This is so because words of Chokhmah indicate the level of Chokhmah, and the high and hidden secrets are Gar of Chokhmah. Those are revealed only by ascending to the place of Atik Yomin and not below him. 63. When that word of wisdom that was innovated in this world arises, it connects to those words of Atik Yomin, ascends and descends with them, and enters 18 concealed worlds, which no eye has seen a God besides you. They come out of there and wander, and they come full and whole and assemble before Atik Yomin. At that time, Atik Yomin smells that thing, and it is more desirable to him than anything. And he takes that thing and crowns it with 370,000 crowns. And that new innovations in the Torah wanders, ascending and descending, and one firmament is made out of it. This is so because at the time of Nukva's ascent to Atik Yomin, she is incorporated in the coupling that is there. She raises reflected light and extends direct light from Atik Yomin. She rises means that she raises reflected light from below upwards. Descends means that she extends direct light from above downwards, at which time she receives words of wisdom in the high and hidden secrets, and she is incorporated with the reflected light and direct light in Atik himself. It was said, ascends and descends with them, and enters 18 concealed worlds, which no eye has seen a God besides you. This is so because the coupling that is made in Atik is also in the Yisod of Atik that is there, and it too is the righteous one who lives forever, like Yisod of Zeranpin upon its ascent to upper Abba Ve'ima. The difference is that Yisod of Atik is no eye has seen a God besides you, since the coupling of Yisod is done on the screen by striking, which raises reflected light to clothe the direct light, while below an Abba Ve'ima, the screen is regarded as wings that cover the upper light when it is repelled. This indicates that there is the force of Din, judgment in them. For every reflected light is called light of Din. But in Yisod of Atik, it is written, your teacher will no longer hide himself, but your eyes will see your teacher. This is so because even though the screen raises reflected light from below upwards, there are still no wings in it. Hence, it is called 18 concealed worlds that no eye has seen a God besides you. In other words, there are no wings there yet, covering from a foreign eye, since there are no dinim, no judgments there. Rather, no eye has seen a God besides you, since the discernment from below upwards is called concealed, though it is in the form of no eye has seen a God besides you. They come out of there and wander, and they come full and whole, since they come out of there, of a coupling on the screen, which is called 18 concealed worlds that no eye has seen a God besides you. And wander means that he raises reflected light from below upwards. And they come means that she extends the direct light from above downwards. And then they are full and whole, filled with direct light from wisdom, Chokhmah, in the high and hidden secrets, and whole with reflected light in which there is no deen, but is entirely utter mercy, on par with the direct light. At that time, they assemble before Atik Yomin, meaning they are ready to clothe the Atik Yomin. At that time, Atik Yomin smells the thing, and it is more desirable to him than anything. Smells means contentment, since that great and sublime coupling brings sublime contentment to Atik Yomin. Since then, all the worlds and all their merit are included in the Nukva, and it is more desirable to him than anything, because that contentment comes to him from all the worlds at once, as she is the utter perfection and sublimity, and the one on whom the worlds were created. Then he takes that thing and crowns it with 370,000 crowns. For then he imparts upon her the sublime Mochin of Atik himself, which are Huktum, since the Sefirot of Atik are 100,000 each. However, the difference is in the 30 upper ones of Chokhmah, as it is written, he was more honored than the 30, but he did not come to the 3. In other words, even though she receives and is honored by Gar of Chokhmah of Atik 2, who are the 30,000 upper ones, the Nukva still cannot actually rise and clothe the 30,000 themselves. If she could clothe those 30,000 too, the Nukva would be annulled in it as a candle before a torch. Hence, she receives from Atik only 370,000 crowns, which is 400,000 minus 30,000. And that new innovations in the Torah wanders, ascending and descending, and one firmament is made out of it. Wanders means flying upwards. Wanders ascending means that he raises reflected light from below upwards, and descending means that through the reflected light that he raises, she descends with the direct light from above downward, and one firmament is made out of it, meaning that through clothing of reflected light over direct light, a firmament is made there. All right. We're going to stop there. That is our Zohar reading for today. Let's just take a second and see who else joined us from the last time. Elle from Minnesota, Patricia from Ohio, Lisbeth from Netherlands, Marina from California, Dewey's writing hello, Mabel Hurst from Mexico, then there's a friend from Romania, Joe from San Diego, Reza from Germany, Cannibalismus from France, Elma from Texas, Danielle from California, Ray's writing shalom to everyone, Hayes from Tennessee, Michelle from San Francisco, and Patricia writing thank you. Thank you, Patricia, and thank you everyone for joining us for your participation in this Zohar broadcast, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.